All right. So what's your current profession right now? What do you do?
I'm a public defender.
Public defender.
Yes.
Okay. So public defender. All right. So just as far as listening to people, the usual thing I hear that you got the public defender. They're not for you. They call them the what? The public pretender. They say they work with the DA's office. And if you got a public defender, you're in trouble. That's the what I hear usually. What do you say?
That's not my experience. So I was a public defender in Riverside County, and now I've been with the Office of the Primary Public Defender here in San Diego for a little over 11 and a half years. I can tell you that I work with some of the most passionate and some of the most brilliant minds. We have set legal precedent. We've taken things up to higher courts and won. We fight for our clients. I can truly say that in San Diego, we are blessed, and it's not what happens in other states. It's not what happens in Louisiana. We have a very organized public defender's office here and a lot of attorneys who care. It's actually pretty competitive to get a job here in San Diego. And so I say we have some of the best that I work with.
Okay. All right. So from public defender to the DA, essentially, you're going from defender to prosecutor, right? Now, a lot of us, we kind of see the DA, especially with a lot of black people being locked up, we kind of looking at that as that's the enemy. That's like the police. They're the ones that locked up my cousin. How do you, coming from an area where a lot of people have fell victim to, or I shouldn't say that, but just been locked up, how does it feel for you to go and become now a DA?
So I've always said that both sides, whether you're on defense or prosecution side, your job is to uphold the law and your job is to seek justice. As a public defender, I clearly have a client and I have to seek justice on behalf of my client. I have to safeguard his or her rights, make sure that they're not being trampled on, make sure that I'm safeguarding the Constitution. As the DA, my job will still be to do justice.
Yeah.
When there is someone who is being wrongfully accused, the job of the district attorney is to make sure that they don't proceed with prosecution. So they have to do things in the interest of justice at all times. And so from that vantage point, I don't see a difference. Where I see the difference is the power that lies in the discretion of the district attorney. Okay. So whereas right now I can have a long day in court and sit with my colleagues and just vent about what sentence was handed down or what a DA had argued for and something that I disagreed with, but a judge went along with. There's the difference because as the district attorney, that power of what sentence will be handed down, what the deputy DAs will be asking for, what plea bargain was extended is all in the hands of that office. And so for me, as a public defender, I'm doing justice in the middle. When a case comes to me, the DA has already decided the charges. They've already decided what plea bargain, if anything, they were going to offer. They've decided who was going to be charged as co-defendants or if there weren't going to be any co-defendants. They've investigated. They've talked with witnesses. They've talked with the victims. They've talked with police officers. The police officers have already made their case. They've written reports. Then it comes to me. Right. The deck is already stacked. Right. As the DA, I'm going to be doing justice on the front end and making those decisions about whether there is enough evidence to levy charges against anyone in the county.
Okay. So you can still, it's not like, it's like, good versus evil. You can do good on whichever side you're on.
That's the biggest part of my campaign is that I want to show that the district attorney can be a vehicle for good. Instead of a district attorney always handing down these tough sentences, no, district attorneys can actually look at a kid and say, you need help. You don't need prison. And so that's the biggest part of this is that I want to reinvent what a district attorney looks like and how a district attorney's office actually operates.
Well, okay. Okay, so now as far as district attorney, so generally in the county of San Diego, the district attorney is basically adjudicating all the felonies, misdemeanors, and I think everything else. What is the reach of a district attorney? I mean, you're just working in the court. A lot of people might say, hey, okay, you're in the courts, you're prosecuting people. I'm not really looking at the district attorney. You know, I'm not doing crime. I mean, what does this really have to do with me? And what is your reach to impact me to where I need to go out and vote? I'm just an average, you know, law-abiding guy.
So the job of the district attorney actually impacts the lives of everyone across the county, just because of the immense decision-making power that the district attorney's office has. People can say, I'm not a criminal. I've never broken the law in my life. But we know from the quote unquote racial profiling study that was done by SDSU, you can be stopped, you can be searched, you can be just targeted because of the color of your skin. When officers stop you based on race and they search you based on race and they may arrest you as a result of profiling you, you may end up in a court system. If someone misidentifies you, you may end up in the court system. And so it's not about, I'm not a criminal and I've never broken the law before. It could be your brother, it could be your sister, it could be a neighbor. And we all know someone that's been impacted by the criminal justice system. And so I would encourage everyone to understand the reach of the district attorney, because it is tremendous, but then also understand that that reach impacts everyone.
Okay, so why do we need you as the district attorney?
Because I have a balanced perspective, and that's what our criminal justice system needs. We have come to a place where in 2011, federal judges have told us, empty your prisons. We're overcrowded. People like to think of California as this liberal bastion, and people look at us as a very progressive state. And we are in some regards, but we are the most incarcerated state. And so we have to take a look at what brought us to a place where federal judges said, empty your prisons. We've spent more on prisons than we have schools, and that shows us where our priorities lie. We would rather invest in prisoners than helping our kids. And so that has to change. So why I'm better to be the district attorney is because, one, I see the impact of the hammer that the criminal justice system has represented over the years. I work with clients every single day. And just because of where I live and my experience, I understand that impact. So I understand that human lives are being touched. People are not numbers. These are cases that represent actual individuals and their families. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I have better ideas and plans on how we can actually help people. For so long, our system hasn't been about helping. It's been about incarcerating our way out of problems. And so right now we're seeing our kids being impacted by the school to prison pipeline, because for some strange reason, we've decided we need to usher our kids into juvenile detention facilities instead of dealing with honest mistakes that kids make just being kids. Kids horseplay at school, and yet they're being brought into juvenile hall and brought into our juvenile courts instead of letting administrators on the school campus deal with it. We have homelessness being prosecuted, waste of money, waste of resources, and it's just inhumane. We have to get to a place where we're not incarcerating people because they're struggling with drug addiction. We have to get to a place where we don't have as our biggest mental health providers our jails. And sad to say, that's not the case right now. We are literally filling our jails with people who need mental health treatment. And that's not okay with me. So I want to bring that perspective, and I bring that perspective because I live that perspective, and that's who I am. You can support me, Jones-Wright, for DA 2018 by going to my website, www.joneswright4da.com. That is FOR, not the number, JONESWRIGHT There you can sign up to volunteer. There's a big red donate button. Even if you don't have a lot of money, I'm getting dollar donations. I'm happy to accept them. This is a people power campaign. So if you can't give a lot, just give what you can, because you understand the change that's needed. Follow me on social media. I am on Twitter. I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook. Jones-Wright, the number 4DA is my Twitter handle. Also my handle for Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. Just go to Jones-Wright for DA. You're going to love the videos I put up. I keep it real at all times. So follow me on social media.